Welcome to Council Action. My name is Elizabeth Couts. I'm the mayor of the city of Burnsville. Council Action is a summary of the council's meeting on Tuesday, November 17th, 2015. The meeting was called to order at 100 Civic Center Parkway in the council chambers. We begin our meetings with a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. We then move on to our announcements, which have to do with all of our upcoming meetings. Council meetings are scheduled for Tuesday, December 8th at 6:30 p.m. and Tuesday, December 22nd at 6:30 p.m. We have work sessions scheduled for Tuesday, November 24th at 6:30 p.m. and Tuesday, December 15th at 6:30 p.m. And I'd like to remind everyone that we are in the midst of budgets, and we have our Truth and Taxation meetings with regard to the budget. Our next budget work session is Tuesday, November 24th at 6:30 p.m., and then we adopt the budget and the final levy on Tuesday, December 8th at 6:30 p.m. And I invite anyone who is interested in the budget to please join us at City Hall, and if you wish to speak, I'm happy to recognize you. And we continue to move forward. Then the next item is citizens' comments. And no one appeared before the City Council to speak to any items. And there were no emergency items to add to the final agenda. And then we move on to the consent agenda. On the consent agenda, we approved all of the minutes of our past meetings, and we approved claims listing. We also approved a resolution to award the sale of general obligation improvement, utility, revenue, and tax abatement crossover refunding bonds. I will ask that you please tune into the City Council meeting and hear this part of the agenda, and this has to do with refunding our bonds and the great rate that we received on our bonds, and this has to do because of our AAA bond rating. And taking care of the assets of the citizens of the community of Burnsville, and also having great best practices and financial planning are the critical factors that move us forward with regard to the bonds and getting the rates that we receive. So please tune into the City Council meeting and hear that report. We also approved the purchase of replacement network server hardware, and we approved the 2016 funding application to Dakota County for the community landfill abatement funds and the execution of a joint powers agreement with Dakota County. We also approved an application for iMetro Property of Edina, LLC, for a plan unit development amendment for a building and site improvement to the Town and Country Center at 1900 Highway 13 East. We approved the PUD and we adopted the findings of fact and the ordinance. We also approved an application for the City of Burnsville for a preliminary and final plat for a one-lot commercial subdivision known as Burnsville Commercial Park, Second Edition, and lot width variance for property located at 1820 Highway 13 West. We approved the preliminary and final plat and the variance, and we adopted the findings of fact. That was the end of the consent agenda, and then we move on to the regular agenda. The regular agenda was a public hearing, and this has to do with the previous item that we adopted in the consent agenda, and the public hearing had to do with a resolution for a partial vacation of right-of-way and drainage and utility easements in the parcels 35 and 36 of Dakota County Road right-of-way map number 365, which is associated with the plat of Burnsville Commercial Park, Second Edition. This item was presented, and I opened the public hearing. No one spoke to the item, closed the public hearing, and the item was approved. The next item was also a public hearing, and this is to approve a reseller's license for Gold District, Inc., doing business as Intrigue Jewelers, located at 915 County Road 42 West, K103. This item was presented, and there were no questions of our city clerk. I opened the public meeting. No one spoke to the item, closed the public hearing, and the item was approved. The next item was an application for Burnsville Associates Limited Partnership LLP for a plan unit development amendment to construct an Aldi grocery store in the Burnsville Plaza Shopping Center located at 1200 County Road 42 West. We were asked to approve the PUD amendment and adopt the findings of fact and the ordinance. I ask that you tune in to the City Council meeting and hear the discussion on this particular item. It had to do with the facade of the building and the improvements that are being made, and also the signage. That item was presented. There was a lot of discussion among the City Council members on this item, on those two areas, the signage and the facade. And the item was approved, and we're moving forward. There'll be an Aldi's on County Road 42. The Aldi's on Highway 13 will continue to operate on Highway 13, but this is a new store. So that item was approved, and there were no other items to come before the City Council, and a meeting was adjourned. I'd like to remind everyone that council action replays at 6 a.m. and noon, 6 p.m. and midnight. City Council meetings replay at various times on Sunday, Monday, Thursday, and Friday, and I encourage you to watch the following to see how you can view past meetings and current meetings via the internet at www.burnsville.org. I'm Elizabeth Couts, Mayor of the City of Burnsville. Thank you for joining me. Continue to make a difference.